So I don't know what this is actually gonna be about. uh, with this being said, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. And we once again, I'm just, trying to kind of recap where I've stopped yesterday with the Ray Dalio principle summary, because this is where we're gonna start today as well, or we're gonna go ahead today as well. Maybe I'm gonna do something for today additionally, maybe not, because probably there's going to be a vlog for today, or I could actually do it like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna do it like that, yeah, I guess so. I think today is gonna be 2 episodes, one longer one shorter one, I guess, because I do not have that much time, or that much time actually. But yeah, I think we're gonna just go ahead quite fast. Yeah, I think I'm gonna recap some of them what I've actually been talking about yesterday as well, because I do not actually know where I've stopped, and I do not wanna kind of lose something, and I do not wanna miss out on something, and I do not want you to miss out on something as well. Just hearing that's a lot echo today, but as long as I'm just pretty much sitting in my fucking microphone, I guess that's totally okay. I'm totally fine. So he likes to automate things, and this is what I just recap, or what I just remember from yesterday, and it was totally about rules and how he's kind of automated his whole trading thing, because he has, I think, the biggest hedge fund in the history of humanity or something. So it's definitely pretty fucking big. I think a few $billion it should be. But I guess I haven't been talking about the last point there, which is he started automating management and human relationships through tools like recording all meetings, the dot collector, or which seems to be the dot collector because it's a quote unquote, and the paint button. Computers can take in data points about people and figure out how to get the most out of people for each project. Yeah, I just remember now that I've actually spoken about it in the last episode as well. But yeah, I think this isn't bothering you or something. But we will go straight ahead to the next point, which is never size the first available option. Which is actually something that I've been talking about, I think, in yesterday's episode for quite. I haven't, but I've been thinking about it, I guess. I really haven't. I think I've just been speaking about it a little bit, because I thought like it is important to not only take the first viable option or the first available option, but it really is important. Like, for sure, I remember. Yesterday I've been speaking about it in terms of design processes, because often it is just the case that you just start with a great idea, and then you're trying out a lot of things, and then you end up with multiple choices, like a ton of choices. At least this is, what's been like for me quite all the time. Like, I've started with one solution or one kind of design, and at the end, I've pretty much had 20, 30, 50, let's say 20 or 30 or something, and different variations of the initial design and whatsoever. So I've just been ending up with quite a lot of ideas, a lot of variation, and a lot of options. And this is always a big problem for me, because at the end I do not quite know what I should take. Like, there are so many options, like really a lot of options, because you can do so many variations. You can use different fonts, different colors, different kind of compositions, and a lot of them can work pretty great. And I do think this just then like what makes a great designer, isn't it? Like, if he's actually able to choose the right option and the right thing, and the thing that's working the best. And most of the time I really come to the conclusion that the first thing I've did, it's been quite often for me like this, not always, to be really honest, not always, but often it's really like the first thing I've tried, or the first option that I've had, is then the final one. Because I somehow decide like, okay, this is just the greatest one. It's not always the case, but often. I really have to say it's often the case. And therefore, like, yeah, sometimes it makes sense that you should just, take the first option. It totally just depends on, what it is all about. Like, if it is about a car, if it is about like a design, it totally comes up to what it is. Yeah, actually. um, by the way, I'm pretty fucking pumped to be here today. I'm really fucking pumped that I'm seeing that everything is going quite smoothly, and I like it. I really deeply like it. Unfortunately, I do just have to, I think, record for tomorrow as well. But I'll see. I'll totally see. So never size the first available option. If you have a choice between two difficult options, look harder for a novel solution that you haven't found yet. An example would be pure alpha. In investing, it seemed Bridgewater could either take high risk, high return or low risk, low return paths. The former would risk a total wipeout and the later is unrewarding. Instead, Dalio found that each incremental uncorrelated asset could improve the return to risk ratio and reduce the risk of losing money in any given year. This led to Bridgewater's flagship fund, Pure Alpha, which has returned an annual average of 18% across its nearly 30 years. Bridgewater's culture in the 90s, which is, by the way, amazing, like 80%. You have to think about it. Like, let's say you have 1K in your, I do not actually have to calculate it. When you have 1K in a fucking bank account or in your investment account, your return would be 180 fucking dollars or euros or whatever it will be. I guess, like, I'm still gonna record it. Yes, 180, which is totally a lot. Like, it's really a lot. It is actually a lot because I've been interested in the whole topic, investing and whatsoever, and if it is actually the only kind of way you can get rich. A lot of people say like it is because it makes sense. Like, it really makes sense because if you bet on really good companies somehow, or if you bet even on America, as some say, if you invest in certain things, then yeah, you can lose or you can win. And when you're winning something, you win a lot, and when you're losing something, you probably lose a lot as well. Like, doesn't always have to be the case, because it is actually the case that it is most of the time, like, either high risk and low return, high risk and high return, or low risk and low return. Even though, like, over time, if you're really just trying to get rich slowly, so over time, just, being rich when you're 70, 80 or something, then it's quite low risk, I guess. I don't know. I'm not an expert in this area. I'm totally not. But most of the people who I have been listening to said that they had a 10% annual return, and everyone was like, what the fuck? It's just amazing that you have had an 10% return this year and whatever, or even 11%, which is just quite a lot. Like, it really is a lot if you think about it as just a compound interest thing, which means that, if you have 10k in your bank account, then you're gonna have let's say 1k. Then you have 1k and $180. Then after 1 year, or after this year again, you're gonna have 80% of the 1,180, which would be 1,180, which would already be 1,392, because it's exponential. Like, it goes up pretty quickly. And if you do have quite a lot of money, like, let's say 100k or 10k even, it's still 1.8k. If you have 10k. And it's quite a lot, and it is fucking exponential. Like, you're really getting rich over time. Like, it really works, theoretically. Practically, I'm a little bit skeptical, to be honest, because, quite always it's about the S&P 500, which is an index fund, which means that it is not actively managed. which means that I've just seen something. This is the cable from my mouse. I'm unfortunately not able to actually plug in my mouse because I do just have only 2 fucking USB slots. One is for my hard drive and the other one is for my phone actually, because it is connected to my PC. And I've actually seen, it is so fucking dumb, I know, but there is the, I don't know what it is actually called. I think you're gonna just actually have to look it up. Because this is actually something that I've never quite known. Is it the power supply? It's an adapter. I think it's an adapter, like the thing you plug into your into the socket. Now I also know what the fucking socket is called. It is fucking called socket. So this thing you just, I'm actually trying to kind of explain for the people who are listening to this as a podcast. The thing you're just, plugging into your socket for your power supply, and I can actually kind of just put my fucking mouse in it. And it was just funny for me. I don't know if it is funny for other people. I guess not. But never mind. But at the end, it is always about the S&P 500, which is an index fund, which means it is not actively managed, which means that there is no kind of man or no kind of woman that is actually trying to make you the most money. Because the problem about this is that there are a lot of fees you have to pay for these people who are actively managing your shit. The good thing about it is, at my point of view at least, that you can somehow be sure that you're gonna make money. It might totally be not kind of worth it, but I guess because, most of the people who are actively managing other people's money do get something off of it. Like, if they make, 10K a year for somebody, they're going to get a percentage of this 10K. If they're going to make 1K a year for this person or just, another person, then they're going to get a percentage of this 1K, At least I guess, it just would make sense, but let's see. In the 90s, race lieutenants gave him feedback about how his openness makes them feel incompetent and humiliated and engenders toxicity. It seemed they could have one of 2 things. The first one would be radically truthful and being weakness to the surface, and the second one is have happy and satisfied employees. He came to understand that people who weren't as close to Ray didn't know his principles and misinterpreted his directness. This led Ray to put his management principles in writing, clarifying why radical transparency was critical to success and providing a framework for resolving disagreements. I think this is just a really, really common problem because communication, as I've been talking about it so fucking often, is just really, really difficult. I think that's not only my kind of opinion. I guess a lot of people think about it that way, but it really is just really, really, really complex and pretty tough. Like, everyone is able to communicate something just in a bad way. Like, at the end, they didn't mean it this way, and somebody think like, or the other people think like, you've said something bad, but actually you don't want to say something bad. It's just how they received it and or how you communicated it. Like, there's always like, you can be kind of the one who is just to be blamed, and also the other ones. Like, it is always kind of difficult. So the receiver and the sender both can somehow be blamed, because even though you somehow communicate something, it might be in a proper way, but the other people just somehow misunderstand it, and therefore they're not gonna somehow kind of agree with you, or they're just gonna be upset with you, or something like this. There's a lot of complexity playing into this whole scheme of communication, also in a theoretical way. Like, I've had some theoretical communication stuff in school because I'm actually in a design and communication design school, and we've been talking about this, and there are actually a lot of models from I would say, pretty just intellectual guys and girls and people in general, which are fucking strange and or like pretty difficult to understand, first of all. And often it is also a little bit philosophical as well, and it just is complex, at my point of view. But let's see. Weigh second and third order consequences. Weigh second and third order consequences. Don't let short-term first order consequences deter you from reaching the real goals. For example, fitness. A first order consequence is the pain during the exercise or dieting. A second order consequence is health, and the third order consequence is happiness and attractiveness, etc. Which actually is the case. Like, this might actually be one of the only reasons why people don't work out, because it is pain. Like, it's not always fun. Like, for me, it is fun because it's just really natural for me, but it also is sometimes not fun because it's really, really, really a lot of pain. Like, even though I'm thinking about it, like, it's just a little bit crazy that we are kind of just, because we want to, we're going through pain. It somehow feels a little strange as I'm thinking about it, but in terms of the whole health aspect and the whole happiness and attractiveness and whatsoever, it totally is true as well. Like, it's gonna make you healthy, even though you have to go through the pain. And I understand what he means, I guess. Inversely, tempting first order consequences can deter you from their downsides. For example, smoking. I see, which is completely the just reverse thing. Like, smoking, like, just as a first order thing or first order consequence, it's just a lot of fun, or it's just a lot of pleasure, or it feels good, or it makes you feel better, or you can lose weight through it, or whatever you're gonna think about it. But the second consequence is actually that you're gonna be just really fucking unhealthy, and the third thing is maybe that you're gonna be unhappy about it, which is completely the other side, which is completely like, So, sorry if there was actually a pretty loud noise there, because I was called and wasn't phoned. I was called, and I think I'm gonna just put them together as without rendering, which is actually possible with the QuickTime player. You can actually put together two videos and or two clips and whatever you wanna think of them, and it works pretty fine. It really works quite fine. It's gonna take just 10 minutes or a little bit less, and then you gotta have just a full episode, like a full, I don't know, depends on what length you're putting together. It is actually a great thing that he's pointing out that there is the A, B, and C consequence, or the first, second, and third consequence. Nature may even be throwing us trick choices to punish people who make short-term decisions on first-order consequences alone, which is actually the case. Like, if you do just only eat like things that are tasting really well, and not actually saying that healthy things do not taste well. Like, if you know what you're doing, and if you've tried out a few things, I really think that you can eat pretty healthy, really, really fucking healthy and good. Like, it is totally possible. Like, a lot of things, and it, definitely comes up to what you prefer and what you like and whatsoever, but there are so many things that are just great and healthy. Like, fruits in general. Fruits are really healthy, and also pretty fucking good. Like, for sure, there are some preferences, people like this, people like that. It always comes up to just what you like. Yeah, definitely. But it really is possible. Also, like, rice and pasta and salads in general, vegetables in general are also pretty fucking great. Just really taste amazing. And, I do just really have to be honest and say, I don't know. Like, I don't know what tastes good, because I'm just, only eating things that are healthy as I think about them. Like, if I'm viewing things as healthy, that I'm gonna eat that, and I think they're gonna taste better than if, not quite. Yeah, I just don't know, because often I hear people saying like, this tastes shit, and I'm like, you know what, this tastes amazing, but it could also just be the case because I can eat it. Like, yeah, because I'm not eating everything, and when I'm eating something, this is just just makes me happy, especially if it's something that's not quite, regular or usual or what everyone think about. So yeah, like, pretty amazing. Pretty fucking amazing. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't know, I hope there's not too loud, all the noises and whatsoever. I really hope it is, because I'm not pretty into kind of just editing it afterwards. But I guess we are already 20 minutes in or something, and there is actually a new section here, which I think not gonna go through, because it's the next section and I don't have that much time today. I'm gonna be in a little hurry, and but there's the next one. But this is also pretty long. No, I can't. I pretty much can't. So I think this is the end of the episode. I do hope there was something in it. I really hope. I normally do not like to make these episodes so short. If you wanna call 20-minute short, I think it is actually, or should actually be the shortest episode I've ever made. Could actually be the case. I still hope that there was something in it, maybe some great idea or something. But yeah, I wish you the best. I'll see you actually at the end screen. I wish you the best, health, wealth, happiness, and success. And I hope that you're gonna remind yourself on how you're gonna be remembered, which means how the guy and the girl on your funeral, what they're gonna talk about you. Whether you're gonna be a good person at the end or gonna be a bad person at the end is totally in your hands. So please think about this. And I'll see you, and thank you from the bottom of my fucking heart for actually watching and or listening to this episode.